Hey everyone, welcome in. For this live today, I am going to talk about a subject that is a hot topic with a lot of business owners and something that I find many struggle with. So we're going to demystify something, and hopefully some of these tips will help you out. So if you don't know already, my name is Melissa. I'm the founder of Flourish Pro, and basically you can think of me as your fractional COO and operational strategist. So today, we're going to talk about if you've ever hired a VA or a virtual assistant and still felt stuck in the weeds in your business, then this live stream is definitely for you. Because today I'm going to show you how to turn around that virtual assistant support from task taker into a true business accelerator. Because there's a difference. Now, I just got to say this on the outset. I have nothing against virtual assistants. I definitely believe that they have their place in business, but I find a lot of business owners feel overwhelmed, and the first thing they think of is, oh, I need to outsource these tasks. I need to hire a VA. So we're going to talk about why that's not always the best idea and what to do instead. So basically, if you don't know me from anywhere, over the last decade, 12 years actually, I've helped hundreds of entrepreneurs streamline their businesses, build scalable systems, and grow revenue in their business. The most important part, right? So today's agenda, we're going to talk about 4 different things. Number 1, why a virtual assistant many times can hold you back in your business. Number 2, the blueprint for a true strategic partnership. Number 3, we're going to talk about a live case study to give you an example. And then at the end, if there's anyone on this live, we'll have a little Q&A session. And if you're watching this on the replay, feel free to drop your comments or questions in the comment section, and I will get back to them at a future time. So, the VA trap. This is what we're going to talk about first. So, let's be honest here. A virtual assistant can clear your inbox. They can do these little mundane tasks or sometimes some bigger tasks, but rarely do virtual assistants ask, how can we, for example, they may look at your funnel. How often do they ask and be proactive saying how can we optimize your funnel to boost sales? Something along those lines. Instead of just doing the thing, most virtual assistants are not proactive in looking at your business as a whole and seeing how to grow. They're focused on, you've assigned them a task, they want to check that box off. So the reason for that is that's what virtual assistants are supposed to do. The VA model is fundamental. I always do this on lives. It's I forget how to pronounce words in English. Okay. The VA model is task driven. You assign them something and then they execute it. That's the model. But a lot of times, this is what happens, okay? And let me know in the comments if you can relate to this, if you've ever worked with a VA. So you're always delegating, you as the owner, you're always delegating the next steps. So they're waiting on you for those decisions. There's no proactive implementation or improvement suggestions. And so what that means is you, as the business owner, still remain the bottleneck for decision making. So yes, you may hire someone to help you, check off a few tasks, but you are still the main person that they are relying on to get all the information from, and that is not helping you move your business forward. And that's also not giving you more time freedom. You're still the bottleneck. You're still focused on that. Now here's the difference. So we've talked about the role of a virtual assistant. Now here is the difference on what a strategic partner brings into your business. And this applies to, it doesn't matter what business you have, if it's an online business, brick and mortar, the fundamentals is they're all the same. So imagine this instead. Imagine a partner in your business who audits your workflow and spots hidden bottlenecks. Someone who co-creates maybe your quarterly growth map. You have those going on, right? You've got your planning, but what if someone was alongside there with you as a partner and helping you create this? And imagine also someone in your business or a partner who manages your team and also advises you on things like pricing, launches, marketing funnels. The list could go on and on. So the key difference here is partner not task doer, okay? Now, let's talk about a live case study. I'll just give you one of many examples that we've worked with before. So let's walk you through a recent example. This is an online example of an online shop, Shopify to be specific. And this is an eco-friendly skincare brand on Shopify. So when I met with them, their average monthly income was $7,000 a month. Now, they had a chaotic order fulfillment. They had an 8% refund rate. They were doing manual email reminders, 0 upsells, just to kind of give you an overview of this business. This was like a small business run from home, and this is kind of when I met them, this is where they were at. So after we decided to come along as a partner with them in their business, this is kind of how the next 8 weeks was laid out. And the reason why I'm breaking it down this way for you is so that you have an idea of what would that look like in your business. It's going to be a little different depending on your needs, what you sell, what type of business you have, obviously, but this will kind of give you just an example of a rounded out viewpoint of how this would break down. So weeks 1 and 2 were focused on audit and mapping. So we took a deep dive kickoff call where we do all the data gathering of their business. And in those first 2 weeks, we mapped every step that not only they did in their business, but also the customer process, what they would do in their business. From click to cart to checkout to delivery. And by doing that, we were able to identify 2 big leaks that were in their business, and that was abandoned carts and refund spikes. So those are the 2 biggest things that we noticed right off the top of the bat there. So what we did for the next 3 weeks after that, so weeks 3 to 6, we built SOPs, so standard operating procedures, for a really streamlined fulfillment process. So just a little caveat or a side point to that. Sometimes people, if their business is quite small, and especially if they run it from home, many business owners think, I don't need SOPs. I know how to do everything. I know the whole process. Yes, but what most don't think about is what happens if something happens to you, or what happens if at a future point you want to take a vacation and you want to train someone. Having SOPs, what may be common sense to you is not going to be common sense for either new hires or if someone has to step in and fill your place. If you have SOPs in place, it just makes everything so much smoother. Okay, so what we did for this client is we built their SOPs, and that cut their fulfillment time in half. This is during those weeks 3 to 6. Then we launched automated abandoned cart and post-purchase email flows. So again, getting in there, seeing where there was a need, seeing where all the leaks were, and then patching it up, fixing it. And then we also added an upsell at checkout. Side point, they didn't have any upsells going on, so we added a very simple one-click upsell. It was for a face serum at checkout. Okay, so those were in the first 6 weeks. Now, the results for starting with week 8, I'm looking down here because I have it on my screen. So remember I said their monthly revenue when we first met them 8 weeks previous was averaging $7,000 a month. And by week 8, they were averaging $15,000 a month. So that was a growth of 114%. Their refund rate went from 8% down to 4%. So it was cut in half. And this is super interesting, is that their email-driven sales, because of that email system we set up for them, was now accounting for 30% of their revenue. So here's the key takeaway that I want you to remember from this is notice how these tasks that we did went way beyond ticking off tasks. So instead we designed systems, we optimized the funnel, and we turned data, because we're very data driven, that's super important, we turned that data into action, which is exactly what a strategic partner does. A strategic partner is not just a task checker offer. Is that a word? We are strategic partners in your business. So basically, you can view an OBM, so an online business manager, that's what I am, that's what I'm fully trained in. You can view us OBMs as someone that slides up beside you and helps carry the weight, and is just as invested in your business as you are. So just think of that. If you're done with task only support, like if you're needing more help than just like checking off things, you want someone who designs or owns your operations, like a COO on demand. I offer strategy calls. So these are on an application only basis. What you'll get with these deep dive strategy calls is we have a pre-call audit or questionnaire that you fill out. We find out about your business, and then from there we do research, and then we have a deep dive call where we go over some strategies, some quick wins right away that we see, and then if necessary we'll go further into that. So if you ever want to, there's a link in the description to apply for these strategy calls. Now, I'll personally review each application, and if it's a good fit, then we'll book your session. It's not an automatic, like click the link, book a call, see you then. There's a process that we go through because not everyone is ready for an online business manager or a fractional COO to help in their business. So that's why we have that process in there to really find out about you and how we can best serve you in the future. So, any questions in the chat? No, I don't see any yet. So, a reminder, if you are following or watching this later, make sure to, I'm just laughing at my background there. That's why I didn't move it. Make sure to drop a question or a comment in the comment box, and I will attack those questions. Yes, I'll attack them at a later point. Okay, guys, have a great day. Thanks for tuning in.